get you going.
All right.
Folks, thanks for logging in tonight. We've got, as our presenter, we have Sharon Rice, and Sharon is an FCS extension agent in Tazewell County and then Russell County. That's she recently transferred from another position within Virginia Cooperative Extension, and she's going to talk to us about Mediterranean eating patterns. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Sharon. And Sharon, thank you for speaking with us this evening.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. So can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Let me do the slideshow. So actually tonight I'm going to talk to you briefly about the Mediterranean eating pattern, the diet, and also the DASH diet. So let me get myself situated here. All righty. So what is the Mediterranean diet? The Mediterranean diet is based on the traditional eating habits from the 1960s of people from countries that surrounded the Mediterranean Sea, such as Greece, Italy, and Spain. And it encourages the consumption of fresh, seasonal, and local foods. The Mediterranean diet blends the basics of healthy eating with the traditional flavors and cooking methods of the Mediterranean. The Mediterranean diet is one of the healthiest eating patterns recommended by the Dietary Guidelines for Americans to promote health and prevent chronic disease. So research has shown the advantages of following the Mediterranean eating patterns. So it's healthy because you live a longer life, you have fewer strokes and heart attacks, less risk of Alzheimer's and depression, reduces allergies, reduction of certain cancers, and the reduction of type 2 diabetes and better glucose control. So this is the Mediterranean diet pyramid, and it includes plant foods such as fruits, vegetables, breads, cereals, beans and nuts, and seeds. It has minimally processed seasonally fresh and locally grown foods. It also has olive oil, dairy products, mainly cheese and yogurt. It's consumed, and those are consumed in low to moderate amounts. And then fewer than 4 eggs each week, and a small amount of occasional red meat, and a small amount to moderate amount to wine with meals. And I'll talk about that in just a few minutes. So foods to include every day. So there's whole grains, 1 to 2 servings per meal. Also vegetables, at least 2 servings at lunch and dinner, including raw. Fruits and fruits, 1 to 2 per meals, including as most frequent desserts. I apologize, I've had a long day. Adequate water as the main beverage. So also dairy, 2 servings daily, healthy fats and proteins, low in saturated fats. So you want to look at those poly and monounsaturated fats. That's what you want to have in your diet there with the Mediterranean diet. Poultry, 2 servings per week, red and processed meats, 1 serving per week, rarely consumed. And like I said, eggs anywhere from 2 to 4 times per week. Also, beans and lentils are the most common source of protein. Nuts, such as walnut, almonds, they're high in heart-healthy poly and monounsaturated fats, 1 ounce per day. Fish, and that is recommended 2 times per week by the American Heart Association. So this is just an example of if you were to consume a Mediterranean diet. This is just an example of what your shopping list would look like in a week. So your proteins, chicken, shrimp, trout, salmon, and tuna. And then also the nuts and fruits, spices, grains. Like I said, whole grains, whole grain pastas, whole grain cereals, pita bread, whole grain oats. And then the vegetables there. I think I skipped one. I apologize, let me go on through. I did mention as far as Let me go on to the DASH diet. I think I've skipped my slide there, Phil, about the wine, but the recommendation is it does allow wine, red wine, up to 1 glass daily with no more than 7 glasses per week for women. And then men, 1 to 2 glasses daily, no more than 10 a week. Although alcohol has been associated with a reduced risk of heart disease in some studies, it's by no means, it's risk-free. The dietary guidelines for Americans caution against beginning to drink or drinking more often on basis of potential health benefits. So let me talk a little bit about the DASH diet. The DASH diet emphasizes portion sizes, eating many different foods and getting the right amount of nutrients. The DASH diet is a lifelong approach to healthy eating that's designed to help treat or prevent high blood pressure, hypertension. So DASH stands for Dietary Approaches to Stop Hypertension, and the diet originated in the 1990s. In 1992, the National Institute of Health started funding for several research projects to see if certain dietary interventions were useful in treating hypertension. So the DASH diet reduces the risk of many diseases, including some kinds of cancer, stroke, heart disease, heart failure, kidney stones, and diabetes. It has been proven to be an effective way to lose weight. So the DASH diet emphasizes vegetables, fruits, and low-fat dairy foods, a moderate amount of whole grains, fish, poultry, and nuts. The one thing about the DASH diet, the sodium levels, the standard DASH diet, you can consume up to 2,300 milligrams of sodium a day, which equals a teaspoon. In a lower sodium DASH diet, you can consume up to 1,500 milligrams of sodium a day. Both versions of the DASH diet aim to reduce the amount of sodium in your diet compared with what you might get in a typical American diet. And most people are consuming up to 3,400 milligrams of sodium each day. So this, I just kind of like to show this. This just shows the different categories of blood pressure, the 5 blood pressure ranges as recognized by the American Heart Association. So you have your normal blood pressure there. That is the upper level, which is less than 120/80. And then your elevated blood pressure is when the reading is, the range is between 120/129 and less than 180 on the bottom there. People with elevated blood pressures are likely to develop high blood pressure unless steps are taken to control this condition, such as exercising and eating healthy. And then you have high blood pressure, hypertension, stage 2, which at this stage of high blood pressure, doctors are likely to prescribe lifestyle changes and may consider adding blood pressure medication based on your risk of having a heart attack or stroke. And then you have the high blood pressure, hypertension stage 2. And when you're at that point, doctors are more likely to prescribe a medication and also a lifestyle change. And then you have your hypertensive crisis, and then that's when you need to get a medical attention immediately if your blood pressure is higher than 180/120. So what to eat on the DASH diet? Like I said, it includes whole grains, fruits, vegetables, and low-fat dairy. The diet also includes some fish, poultry, and legumes, and encourages a small amount of nuts and seeds a few times a week. This diet is low in saturated fats, trans fats, and total fats. So here is just a diagram looking at the DASH diet. This is based on a 2,000 calorie per day diet. So this just kind of gives you an idea, 6 to 8 servings of whole grains daily, 4 to 5 servings of vegetables per day, 4 to 5 for fruit, 2 to 3 servings per day of low fat or fat-free dairy. And then you have 4 to 5 servings per week for your nuts, seeds, and legumes. and then less than 6 servings per day of lean, or that's 6 ounces actually, lean meat, poultry, and fish. And then you've got the less than 5 sweets and those kind of things per week. And then also 2 to 3 servings per day of fats and oils. So the DASH diet on alcohol and caffeine, drinking too much alcohol can increase your blood pressure. The DASH diet recommends that men limit alcohol to 2 or fewer drinks a day and women 1 or less. The influence of caffeine on blood pressure remains unclear. And these are my sources that I used. Thank you. Do you have any questions for me?
Sharon, I have a question.
Sure.
A few years ago, I don't know if this was just one of those wives' tale things that worked, or I thought it worked, but
Okay.
I went and did a checkup, and I was borderline high blood pressure, to the point that I was almost they wanted to consider medication, and they were going to give me a month or so to try to get it in line. And I read something on pomegranate juice, and I tried doing that, and sure enough, next time I went back, my blood pressure was low enough that they didn't prescribe me medication. Now, there could have been other things that influenced that, but I have read
that pomegranate juice can help. But did you modify your diet and exercise more by any chance?
I'm sure I did. It's been a few years.
Yeah. Modifying your diet and exercising more definitely helps with borderline hypertension. I have hypertension. I was diagnosed when I was 38. And, I eat right and I exercise and I do all those things and I'm at a healthy weight. But mine came from genetics. My mother developed hypertension in her late 30s. So my younger sister and we both have it. So even though I eat right and exercise and all those good things, I still have to take 1 pill a day to, keep it under control.
Right. So, thank you.
Does anybody else have any questions?
Everybody's being quiet.
They are being quiet. I'm sorry. I got a little tongue-tied tonight and got a little confused there in my slides. I apologize.
You're fine.
A lot of people ask me about Mrs. Dash. I do recommend Mrs. Dash. That's a great salt substitute that I do recommend clients to use, when I'm teaching nutrition classes out there in the community. And also salt substitutes. That just depends. You definitely have to talk to your doctor on that, because the salt substitutes, they contain potassium. And then sometimes the salt substitutes also are mixed with some sodium as well. And, that can raise your blood pressure. So.
All right. Anything else for Sharon? All right, Sharon. Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Great information. Thanks so much. And I guess you recommend starting one of these diets tomorrow, correct? Or even tonight?
Well, yes, I do think, especially if you have hypertension, the DASH diet has been, proven to reduce, your risk of, helps lower your blood pressure, and then also having a heart attack or stroke. So studies have shown that it works.
Well, definitely great information. Thanks you so much for joining us.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
And Jeremy, what's coming up next week?
All right, next week, Phil. I think on Tuesday we have. I have it written down as pollinators, and you may want to discuss more about that. And then on Thursday we have hemlock woolly adelgid is what we'll be covering.
Okay.
So that's what we've got next week.
And for Tuesday, I know Shad is going to be the presenter on pollinators, and he donated a bunch of flower seed for those who register for Tuesday evening. I've got those at the office. So any of you who want to pick up some of those flower seeds, it's just an assortment. There's zinnias, there's marigolds, then a few other pollinator-friendly species. You can pick those up at my office, and I will leave those out over the weekend. Just contact me, let me know that you're interested in joining us on Tuesday, and I can leave those seeds out at the office for you to pick up over the weekend. And those seeds are courtesy of the Letcher County Extension Office. Those are donated by Shad.
It's good stuff there, definitely. So should have two good ones next week as well.
All right. Well, everybody have a good evening.